Hi, my name's Aiden.
And I'm Jake.
And welcome to History and Haunts. Hello, and welcome back to History and Haunts.
Woo!
Episode 10.
Episode 10.
I have a wonderful episode for you all today. I think it's great.
Have all the others not been wonderful?
Episode 2 was not wonderful.
There was an episode 2. I don't remember. I just remember 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Other than episode 2, I feel like they've all been pretty good.
Yeah.
But this one, I'm having a stroke. You know, I kept doing
Same joke,
that.
different week.
I kept doing that in a patient's room the other day. Like, I could not get my words out, and I was like, I guess I'm having a stroke. He didn't laugh.
Probably not, because probably his grandmother died from a stroke
Probably.
or something. Probably hates you.
Maybe. Anyway, I'm excited for this episode because it's in my favorite country.
Scotland?
Yes, how'd you know?
I don't know. That was a lucky guess.
Scotland, home of James Alexander Malcolm Mackenzie Fraser. AKA...
This is my last podcast.
Yeah, okay. I don't believe you anymore after you've said that for the last 8 episodes. So I don't really have much to say, so let's just jump in. Unless you have anything to say.
I have nothing to say. Nothing's going on.
I'm trying to think of what we did this weweek. We watched that movie yesterday.
Nothing.
That movie was...
I forgot the name of it, so I wasn't even going to mention it.
Land of Bad.
Oh, yeah. It's a crazy movie.
It was, I don't know. I'm just not really into gore.
Yeah, it's like a crazy war movie on Netflix. I don't know if it's a Netflix original.
I don't know.
It might be. It might be. Great movie though. It's on Netflix. It was wild.
I love war movies, but this one was just... It was just a lot of gore, and I was like, damn, like, people actually go through this. And I just didn't like it. Anyway, that's all I have to talk about, and I don't really want to talk about it.
Yep.
So, as we said, we're going to Scotland today, specifically Edinburgh, and we are covering the Tolbooth of Edinburgh. And, in case you're wondering what a Tolbooth is, I did Google it, because, I don't know, like, in all my research, there wasn't, like, a clear definition, so I got a very clear definition for you guys, and it's just a booth where drivers must pay to use a bridge or a road, so...
Did you really have to look that up for people to know what that is?
Yes.
Are you kidding me? I'm over here thinking, oh, okay, it's probably not the booth where people go to pay.
No, it's the booth where people...
Pay for a service.
Yeah, no, it is actually that.
I cannot believe you looked this up.
I did.
That's just crazy to me.
I mean, I thought maybe it's not a
That's
booth.
a pretty common thing.
A toll booth?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's spelled weird.
It is absolutely not.
It only has one L.
What's wrong with that?
If
anything, it looks like Tolbooth, and it's like, okay, close enough.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I just was like, I just really couldn't make out what it was.
Okay.
I was dumb. What can I say?
Okay. Hey, you said it, not me. You said it, not me.
So that's what a toll booth is, guys, in case anyone was wondering. This toll booth, it has like a lot of history because we go back all the way to Jake's favorite year, the 1300s.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
You do not like that. You complain about it most of the time.
Oh, I got nothing to say.
And the original one like isn't there anymore because it got demolished a while ago, but there's still a lot of good stuff, so we're going to talk about it. The original toll booth is called the Old Tolbooth, and it was a municipal building in Edinburgh located in the northwest corner of the St. Giles Cathedral. This was an important place to Scotland for over 400 years. So very long.
So it's a toll booth in a church? So I'm getting that so far?
No. Like, from my understanding... Hold on. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know.
Wow, you it seems like you really like this place.
Let me look up this cathedral. Because that may give us like a better understanding. Because, see, it's like a cathedral. It's like a big church.
Yeah, I know what a cathedral is. Yeah.
And I think the I have no idea. See, big church, and then I think like basically it wasn't in it, but on the northwest side of it, there was a building, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So they're just using that as like a reference point, perhaps. If that makes sense.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So, this toll booth was established in the 1300s by the Royal Charter, and it served as a toll collection place where merchants would come together to determine the trade rules and regulations. Hence the name toll booth.
I'm
It
not over this.
5 minutes
8
in.
lines in, and this is what we got.
This toll booth had many purposes, though. It was the home of the Council of Edinburgh. It was a meeting house for the Parliament. It was also a meeting house for the Court of Sessions. It was a jail, and public executions occurred here starting in 1785.
How big is this place?
It was 4 stories.
What?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
The records show that there was a toll booth here as early as 1368 on High Street, but the first official use of the term was not used until June 28th, 1451. So a little less than 100 years later. History shows that there was a land grant that is dated 1368, and this land grant was given to Edinburgh. The plot of land was 60 by 30 feet, which sounds, is that big or small?
That's relatively small, I would imagine.
I feel like it's pretty small.
That's probably like it's not even as big as this like plot of land our house is on.
Is our house 60 by 30?
It's probably a little bigger than that. Maybe 60 feet wide. Or
What is
60 feet
60
long,
times 30?
Was it 1800?
Let me do the math really quick.
I think it's 1800.
1800.
Oh my goodness.
So is that 1800 square feet then?
Well, I thought we established this last week. We do not know anything about that stuff.
I'm just wondering because then that's like double the size of this house.
Yeah, it would be. No, it can't work like that.
That can't be right?
No, our house is at least 60 feet long. Yeah.
No, I don't know if 10 of my grandpas would 10 of my grandpas be if he laid down? My grandpa's 6 feet tall.
Well, okay. Well, I mean, there's plenty of size references we could use other than your grandfather. Jesus.
Like, would 10 of him... I mean, maybe this is 10 of him. Maybe it's more. Anyway, guys, 60 by 30. Maybe it's small. Maybe it's big. Who knows? What we do know is that the toll booth was constructed here, and it made the street very, very narrow. After it was built, it only had... the street was only 14 feet in width.
That's not too bad.
No, but I mean, it was probably a busy time back then. People trying to get through, people trying to sell stuff.
Yeah, but 7 feet on each side of clearance. That's can't be too bad. I think I want to say a fire truck is 8 feet wide. Just for reference.
Okay.
I feel like a normal car is. I don't even know. I feel like that's not too bad, man.
We'll have to measure it out.
14 feet? That's
basically what we're getting at is none of us. We have no idea about any measurements. Yet again. And the toll booth was also located underneath the Royal Mile. Because I don't know if you've ever seen Edinburgh, but it's the castle is up on a hill,
Okay. I'm not familiar.
It looks down over everything, I believe. So it was probably under there somewhere. So, as I mentioned previously, it is 4 stories tall, and it was called the Praetorium or Bell House at one point because it had a bell that summoned the Guild brothers to meetings. It took on the name toll booth when it became a tax office.
Oh, okay.
The first floor was rented out as shops and taverns, and also some offices, I guess. Skipping forward a bit to the mid-1500s, this was the time of Mary, Queen of Scots, ruling, and the toll booth had fallen into disrepair, and it was ordered to be taken down and rebuilt. She was very young at the time. I don't even know if you can necessarily call it like a ruling. Which I mean, I guess eventually she got a little older, but when she inherited the throne, she was only 6 days old.
And she so this like 5-year-old girl's like asking to condemn a building, reconstruct blueprints.
Well, I don't know what year it was ordered, like exactly to it was exactly ordered to be taken down. So I mean, she could have been older at the time because I believe she ruled for like 20 something years, starting at 6 days old.
Well, 20 years is that's a good long life back in the day, you know?
Well, she lived until longer, but then she was executed by her cousin, I believe.
What? She didn't rule the whole time?
Um,
She ruled for 20 years
okay,
and then what?
here, little backstory. So Mary, Queen of Scots, she took over when she was 6 days old, right? She
Hmm?
had people that like did it. It was just she's like the ruler, but everyone else made
It's
decisions.
all right.
She ruled for like 20, I want to say like 22 years in Scotland, and then she was taken prisoner by her cousin in who was the Queen of England. And then after at some point when she was like 45, I believe, she was executed by her cousin.
What the heck?
Yeah.
What in the what in the
Medieval shit is that?
yeah, you talking like my cousin's the Queen of England, I'm the Queen of Scotland.
Yeah.
What in the Rothschild?
I don't know. Don't know.
You're gonna bend those cords and break them.
Oops. Okay. Anyway, that's the story of Mary, Queen of Scots. Very simplified because that's all I know, and I don't want to give out false information. Back to the
Fair
Tolbooth.
enough.
There was evidence of its demolition in 1571, and this appeared in an article. Around this time, the Court of Sessions also moved because the judge wanted better premises. So it was kind of losing some of its popularity, I guess.
Yeah.
Now, there were two new buildings known as a toll booth. There was the one at the west end of St. Giles, used for Parliament meetings. I hope it's Giles and not Giles. I should have Googled
It's
it
the same thing,
first.
man.
Let me look it up really quick.
Oh my
Now I want to
goodness.
know. Okay, guys, we're back.
Just say St. G's.
We Googled it. It is St. Giles. I have been
Yeah.
pronouncing it wrong.
You pronounced a couple things wrong in the last 20 seconds.
It is St. Giles. Luckily, I think I've only said it about once, maybe twice.
Just so you guys know, she said once and held up 3 fingers.
I've said it a while. I've said it wrong a little bit. Okay, but you know what? The important thing is that I've corrected my mistakes and we're moving on. And
Are we moving on, or
we're
we
moving
gotta
on.
call somebody?
Everyone that is not American is gonna be like blame it on dumb Americans. And I'm sorry,
I
guys.
honestly don't think anybody is gonna say that. It's
If
you're
we
part of the problem.
if we ever get a British listener, they're totally gonna say dumb Americans. The other day,
Fine. It's fine. It's fine.
okay, I'll tell you this story later. No one wants to hear my stories. We'll get back to they might want to hear my story.
I don't want to hear
Well, too bad you get to later.
it.
Back to the episode, now that we figured out this pronunciation. So, at the west end of St. Giles, the toll booth was used for Parliament meetings. And then there was a new building at the southwest end of St. Giles, and it was also used as a toll booth. However, this building was demolished in 1632. They're just out here demolishing buildings left and right, really.
Well, they were probably made out of, you know,
Listen,
sand.
no, they got to be made out of better shit than what D.R. Horton's building with.
Okay. All right. Is this
Is this podcast about hating on
like
D.R.
is this
Horton?
just like
Yes, yes, it
Hate
is.
America Day or something? Like what is happening? I'm trying to learn about the tall booths in St. Giles.
Giles. In 1639, the Parliament moved to a new location, yet again. But the toll booth continued to be used as a prison and an area for execution until it was demolished in 1817. At this point, it was used almost entirely as a prison by the time it was demolished. So,
That is so interesting.
its use as a prison is a dark and a long one, beginning in the 1480s. Which, if anyone goes to St. Augustine, I definitely recommend visiting the Medieval Torture Museum. That was
Yes,
a good
that was
museum.
a very interesting museum.
Lots of education.
Yeah, nasty stuff, man.
Now, I'm going to give you all a little bit of education about torture because torture was regularly used here at this toll booth. So, one of the torture methods was the boot. This was used to cause crush injuries to the foot. Horrendous.
Oh,
There were also pillywinks, aka thumb screws, and I hate nail shit, and this one's really gross. So they used crushing bars that were lined with sharp metal points to puncture the nails. And they would
okay.
just screw it on down.
Oh,
Awful. The executions occurred at the Meerkat Cross, and they were carried out on the roof of a two-story building. This was located on the west side of the toll booth, and it had gallows so that the public could view the executions.
oh my goodness.
People were executed via hanging, decapitation, and then these two I weren't sure if they were like torture methods or execution methods, but also drowning and burning. I wouldn't put that past them to drown and burn people because
Yeah.
like they did that shit all the time in the witch era, you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They also had, I don't know how to pronounce this word. Jogs? Who knows? Jougs.
Who knows? Joe? Maybe it's just pronounced like Joe or something like that.
Joes. Anyway, it is a metal collar that is attached to the outside of the building so people could view the prisoner. They also had like the typical, what are those things called where they put you in your arm and your head and they can throw stuff at you?
Oh yeah.
Like rotten fruit.
Yeah. I forgot the name of that thing.
They
Is
also
that
had
every
those.
amusement park ever?
Yes.
Some mom in her 40s always takes some funny picture with it, smiling and laughing.
Yeah, I forget. The stocks, maybe?
I couldn't even tell you the name of it.
I feel like it's called the stocks, maybe. I don't know. They also had spikes on the upper part of the jail so that body parts and heads of notable people could be displayed.
Ew.
Hugo Arnaud, he wrote an account of the jail. I'm not sure if he was a prisoner there or just like visiting. He said that there was no ventilation, water pipes, or privies. He said it was incredibly dirty, with excrement thrown into a hole within the house located at the foot of the stairs. So you can imagine the smell.
Oh.
Some prisoners had what was called freedom of the prison, and they could roam about. They also had cleaner rooms. These prisoners were often on the west end of the toll booth, and they were not there for like super severe crimes. They were often debtors, but they could be held for months for very small amounts.
Really?
Yes. Visitors in this area came and went as they pleased, and the prisoners could even go to the tavern within the building.
What kind of prison is this?
Not a very good one, let me tell you.
Yeah, they're shitting down the stairs. It can't be this is a prison.
No.
There's a pile of human shit at the bottom of the tavern at all times.
That's so gross.
Oh
Can you
my
imagine
god.
going to get a beer and like someone just
There's just this
throws their
pile of
shit down
poop
the stairs?
followed by like a stream of pee
Ew.
coming down the stairs.
Oh.
The sand stairs, so it just seeps into the sand.
They were probably stone or wood.
I don't know.
Really gross either way.
That's really horrendous.
There was a man named Davy who lived among the prisoners on the West End, and he lived there for many years. He was homeless, and he would run errands for the prisoners in exchange for being able to live with them. And I just wonder, like, why were the prisoners allowed to decide that someone could live with them?
Dude, I don't. You lost me at
The shit going down the
shit
stairs.
going down the stairs.
The ones who were confined to their rooms had very little furniture, and their rooms were very dirty. The eastern part of the prison was worse and more secure. Was it really secure, though? Who knows? But they said it was more secure. And it often held the more severe criminals. It was made up of 3 apartments, all of which were disgusting. One room was known as the Iron Room and was used for those sentenced to death. At the time of Hugo's visit, 3 boys were imprisoned for thieving, all of whom were 12 to 14 years of age.
Oh, wow.
And they had been confined for 3 weeks in a room with the same straw and rags that had not been replaced. So
That is
just disgusting.
disgusting.
In addition to just living in awful conditions, they had to pay for their food and other items. And the jailers sold it at inflated prices so that they could make extra cash by selling them. Those who had no money had to live on bread and water only, which sounds like the perfect recipe for scurvy.
Yeah.
Wealthy prisoners could pay for better accommodations, and they were also frequently able to escape. Lord Burleigh, he was a murderer. Not sure who he murdered, but he killed someone, and he escaped by changing into his sister's clothes.
And walking out the front door?
Yep.
Good for him.
Someone escaped in a trunk. And then there was a mass escape in March 1786 where the prisoners got the keys. They all just left. In 1681, James Parker and his assistant jailer were sent to prison due to the high number of escapes. But sending them to prison didn't really do anything because the jailers afterwards still faced the same issues of lots of escapes. There was,
you know what? At least they were making an effort back in the day to help contain like the rule breakers. You know, like thieving and stuff didn't go like unscathed.
It still doesn't go unpunished.
Yeah, unpunished. No, like I'm saying, like this was a long time ago, but they still had like a system to deal with people who were like thieving and stuff.
A terrible system. They used to like chop off their hands.
Oh well, I mean, yeah, I don't gotta be that intense.
He's shaking his head. Yes, that should be the sentence.
What?
Yeah, I saw you.
No.
I also think a lot of times, like the kids that were stealing, like I think that's just so sad because they were probably just hungry.
Yeah, because like what did people steal back in the day? You know,
food. They were stealing food.
Yeah, like because they weren't stealing shoes. You know, nobody had shoes. They weren't. You know, I'm just thinking like what shoes, like jewelry. Was jewelry a thing back in the day?
For the rich people, but the poor people just wanted food, man. So
I just can't think of anything that people would steal that would be back in the day. You know?
No, just food, I think.
That's all I can think that would be valuable.
Because they were hungry.
Currency, whatever currency they used.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I'm not sure.
They didn't really have banks, right? So
no, I think they did.
Did they? People,
yeah.
But people just like have like a box
of coins
like above the chimney somewhere, you know.
I don't really know. I'd have to look into it. But they had banks. There were some nice moments, I guess, within the prison, like moments of humanity, I guess you could say. Governor Captain Sebald, he paid the debts of people with families responsibilities so that they could attend to those and not be imprisoned anymore. He also gave those awaiting death extra bread and water.
Oh, wow.
The prison held Scottish enemies throughout history. In the 1600s, several escaped by using sheets to make a rope and climb out of the window. And in the 1700s, they were held here before being sent to Greyfriars, or the Caribbean for hard labor. The men had their ears cut off, and the women were branded at the time. After the late 1600s, they began to send prisoners to the plantations in America, so it kind of like lost its, I don't know, popularity.
Mm-hmm.
There was one man here named Deacon Brodie, and he was a counselor, but he was also a thief. He stole in order to continue his gambling habit, so he wasn't stealing anything good. He was just stealing to be an asshole.
Yeah.
He was hung in 1788 in the gallows that he helped design.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that funny?
That's a big F-U right there,
It really is. I was like, oh my gosh. In 1817, the toll booth was demolished and it was replaced with a new jail. So the original toll booth is no longer there. People felt that the original toll booth was causing too much obstruction to the road because, like I said previously, it made the road pretty narrow.
Mm-hmm.
The location of the original toll booth is marked by a heart made of stones. And I was wondering if this is a reference to the name given to it by Sir Walter Scott in one of his novels, The Heart of Midlothian, or if he called it that because of the heart. I'm not sure the timeline, what year he called it that versus when the heart was placed. But Cool either way.
Yeah.
At the time of the demolition, there were 12 debtors left, and Bailey Robert Johnston, he paid their debts so that they could be free.
Oh, wow.
I know, isn't that nice?
Mm-hmm.
Many people were upset that it was demolished, including Sir Walter Scott, because, this is like a historic building. It's been here. I mean, not that building specifically, but the toll booth has been part of this road since the 1300s.
Yeah.
Sir Walter Scott, he got the main stone gateway, a wooden door, and a padlock. And his original plan was to like incorporate it into his house, but I think it was one of his like servants or something said no, like don't put this in your house, maybe like dark energy or something. And so he built them into the outside of his residence in Abbotsford. Today, the area holds a museum and taverns, and the museum tells the story of the working class people of Edinburgh from the 18th century until today.
Oh, so it's kind of like a museum now?
Mhm. They have the largest collection of early reform flags and banners. They have like wax figures, different, like, what are those things called? Different exhibits, bunch of
Oh,
different
okay.
exhibits
Okay.
relating to the life of the people. The ground floor is occupied by the Tolbooth Tavern starting in the 1820s. So that thing's been there for a while.
Still there today, huh?
The tavern, yeah.
Wow. That is awesome.
And the tavern is what is home to like the hauntings. So there is a warlock story started by Sir John Scott. Don't know if this story is true. The other hauntings, I feel like they have like a lot of credibility because a lot of people have referenced them or seen them.
Yeah.
We have to go to this tavern ourselves so that we can see if there's any hauntedness. But
Yeah,
I don't,
we'll have to swing by.
yeah, just one day on our free time, we'll just take a
Mm-hmm.
drive over. Um, the warlock story, though, I don't know. In 1591, Sir Lewis Belladon, he dealt with a warlock named Richard Graham, who supposedly attempted to raise the devil, and he was said to have done this in his backyard. So the warlock was forced to have an exorcism performed on him, and he became so scared that he died.
What?
Yeah.
Why is he at the tavern?
Well, at the time, like the tavern, um, well, in 1591, it wasn't a tavern, but like more recently, the front part of the tavern was the tavern, and the back part was like residences until it all became the tavern.
Okay, I
But
got
just
you.
like in this location, this is said to have occurred.
Yeah, yeah.
Also, though, like if this man wasn't a warlock, and he wasn't trying to summon a demon, that would be pretty scary to get an exorcism performed on you.
Yeah.
Most of the activity is reported, like the ghostly activity, is reported in the back of the tavern, which is the newer part of it, but it did hold tenants up until the 1900s. People often feel uneasy back here. Glasses and bottles will fall off tables. Decorations will fall from walls. Objects will be moved. Staff report seeing a person like shape out of the corner of their eyes when one of the upstairs doors is left open.
Oh, wow.
I know. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Almost like they're peeking out of the room or something.
To like come down to
get a drink.
Go poop.
To go.
On the stairs.
Oh my god. Maybe. There are two men dressed in old-fashioned military clothing that sometime appear. There's another unnamed spirit who also appears as a shadow figure, and he's said to be male, and he will do some of the pushing of glasses off the tables and pictures off the wall. There's children seen playing in the pub, and their laughter is heard, even though there aren't, like, real children in this pub.
Yeah.
And the final spirit is said to pace up and down the stairs that lead to the clock tower.
Interesting.
I believe these hauntings, because they sound pretty realistic.
I'd say relatively.
They sound like they could be real, not like some of the other crazy ones you hear.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's all I've got. That's all I wrote.
Wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I would love to visit here one day, just because, like, it has a lot of history and the ghosts. Who doesn't want to try to see a ghost?
Yeah, I'm all about it.
Oh yeah, I'm all about it too. Especially just because I love Scotland. And I really need to go one day before I die.
Well, we'll go.
Okay, good. Next vacation.
What?
Maybe not next one.
I gotta get a passport.
Yeah, you do.
I still don't have one.
You need to get one. We're next time we have some time off, we're going to get you a passport, okay?
All right.
Okay. Now, I had a question. Do you think people actually like the hint of the week?
Well, you don't really give them anything to like try to guess.
I gave them
Like the
hint
last one,
stuff.
didn't you say it's in Scotland? Have a good one. See you later. Bye. Oh, great. It's in Scotland. Oh, I wonder what it could be.
So I should give better hints, is
Yeah,
what you're saying.
or just tell them what it's going to be next week.
No, I like hints. But I was just wondering if like the
Okay.
hints are pointless.
Well, the way the hints you give are pointless. Yes.
Okay. Why don't you give this hint then?
Okay.
Except you don't know anything about this
Yes, I
place.
do.
Oh yeah, I've told
Yep.
you about this place a lot. Okay, guys.
So I guess I can't give that hint. So she edited that one out. So this is going to be, it's a haunted town somewhere in Florida in the Ocala National Forest. And it isn't currently accessible due to people doing like, they're like vandalize the city over the years. So the person who owns it closed it from the public. So it's like it's a public-private haunted city in the Ocala National Forest.
I will say I'm not sure it's really haunted. It's more of just like a ghost town, you know?
Well, considering it's closed off to the public, it probably is a ghost town.
Yeah. I'm very excited to cover this next week because it's so cool, you know?
Um, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I've got 6 pages of research ready to go.
Wow. That's a lot.
I can't wait for it, guys. Okay, that's all I have. I'm hungry, so I need to go eat lunch.
Yep, about that time.
Until next week, guys.
See ya.
Bye.